So I'll go over the props now, officially. So a ball, if you have a ball laying around, if not, your yoga block or whatever you have that you can just grip in your hand. You're gonna be passing the ball around a little bit. So if you're using a bigger object that you can't toss, no big deal. You're just gonna deliver it to your other hand. If you can toss, you can toss. So, maybe that's a consideration of how much effort you want to put into hunting down a ball in your space. And then otherwise, we're going to be using a resistance band. So this is optional as well. First April of the month, we're going to be slowing things down in terms of our movement practice. Sometimes you get pretty wild with the resistance training. But a part of that introduction, building that foundational movement and strength training, I do recommend maybe next first Tuesday, to have some kind of band. They're pretty inexpensive and easy to find in the virtual world. And if you do have stretchy leggings or stockings, or just a regular yoga strap or belt, that would work as well. And we're going to hear that spiel one more time. Maybe I'll wait another minute before I go over the prop spiel. Hi. We were just talking about props, ball and band or belt, resistance band, or any kind of yoga belt or band that you have. So let's dive into our topic today. So I've been really thinking about how wonderful this moment in time is. There's been a big shift in culture for people that have been studying and advocating around issues of race, immigration, colonialism, imperialism. Like there's this massive shift where there's traction of these discourses and teachings, and people actually want to hear you talk outside of like small circles, activist circles or academic circles. So for me, this shift has been really great because I feel like I've found a way to teach yoga that feels really authentic to who I am as a person and to the philosophies and teachings that I really have focused and devoted so much of my life to studying. But one thing that I've noticed a lot about the shift is the ways in which our discourses that have always been kind of marginalized and fringed have been so seamlessly adopted into mainstream culture and dominant culture, right? And what does that all mean? What does that all mean in terms of what we do as people devoted to this practice of yoga? What does that all mean towards our path to liberation and collective liberation? And so today, I thought we would tackle those big questions by really creating inquiry around a smaller question of what it means to be the other, what is the other, and like the big O other, right? And if you're not familiar with that concept, I'll go over it a little bit as well. And the reason why I thought it was a good topic is because people have, again, gone through this big cultural shift, right? Where people are talking about anti-Asian racism. And the concept of the other is kind of a big part of that narrative on racial triangulation and this account of what it means to be Asian in America. So I just wanted to dial it back and even like talk about, well, how did you even come to use other and othering so casually in everyday conversation to discuss exclusion, right? And understanding the history of these concepts and understanding where they come from and can only enrich and deepen how we use them and help us identify how we abuse them. So this isn't about pointing the finger necessarily at who's doing it wrong, but understanding its uses and how easily, we exist in a system that is so good at branding itself. Capitalism is such a powerful brand. It knows how to co-opt things so well and seamlessly. So that inquiry, I think, is going to be really helpful in guarding our own practices. So just to talk real briefly about what the other is, and I'm sure most of you have heard the term, and we can go around the room, whoever wants to talk can talk about their relationship to the term. But the other started in philosophy, in phenomenology, Hegel's dialectic, the concept of the other and the centering of the self. And so I'm not going to go deep into that, don't worry. I'm not qualified to go deep into that. But the classic dialectic is master slave, right? So that's, everyone kind of has heard this. So when this anti-imperialist scholar named Edward Said, I don't know if any of you have heard of him, started talking about Orientalism and imperialism and colonialism. He and a lot of other post-colonial theorists found the term other to be really helpful in explaining to people how culture, politics, and our social interactions and interpersonal relationships have really created a situation where colonialism, subjugating people and lands is possible. The process of othering, right? So this history of that term, what it means to be othered, is tied to the history of imperialism, the history of capitalism. So for me, now when I hear the term othered, being othered, othering, I feel like there is a lot being removed from that movement of understanding history and understanding the amount of time it takes to become the other in this post-colonial sense, right? And I hear it being used to refer to white feminists being othered, right? White people in general that are feeling marginalized are using the term marginalization and being othered interchangeably. And I'm not saying any of these things are wrong. I'm not making moral judgment on them. I'm just saying these are things that I'm seeing prop up. And I wanted to know what you all think of that term. If you knew the history of that term, if you knew of the term at all, and what are the thoughts that come up with the word in just your everyday language and your everyday understanding, if it is a term that you've used and seen or heard. I'm going to pass it to you now. I talked a lot. Okay, so we can actually move and breathe a little bit for 15 minutes. Probably going to skip Shavasana today, just in terms of lesson plan here. So if you do want to do Shavasana and bow out for the last 5 minutes, I won't be offended at all. You can just lay down and take your Shavasana. To do our breath work to start, grab your block or cushions or blocks, whatever you like to sit up on, elevating the seat up off the floor. And just sit in silence for, let's say, about 30 seconds together. On your next breath in, fill the front of your chest. Hold at the top and exhale out the mouth. Let the chest soften, face relax. On your next inhale, fill the front of the chest and the upper back, the back ribs. Hold at the top and exhale out the mouth. Let the skull fall back and allow your exhale to be a little slower as we breathe out the mouth and build on space, build on softness. Inhale, breathing in through the nose, filling the chest, the upper back, and now the belly, the front of the pelvis. And exhale out the mouth. Feel the belly soften into the spine, the front of the pelvis lift up. Inhale, breathing into the top of your trunk, and now the bottom of the trunk, the belly, the waist, the back, around the sacrum, the base of the spine, and the back of the pelvis, widening and expanding. Exhale out the mouth, feeling the pelvic floor soften up, belly soften down. And just taking 4 full breath cycles, feeling the top of the trunk rise, the bottom of the trunk lower as you inhale, and feeling everything center to your trunk center as you exhale. Using as much guidance with the breath to expand and spread out and to draw in. You can think of this as an accordion breath, picturing the center of the accordion and everything moving out from that center as you make your sound. And then exhale, whistling back into that center. Setting your intention for your practice, your movement practice, and guiding our movement with joy and pleasure today. So understanding these offerings as suggestions and variations, modifying as you play and experiment with the process of gaining pleasure from movement. Palms together at heart center. Pressing the heel of the hand into the chest. Lifting. Inhale for Om if you choose. Bowing the head, lower the hand. Inhale, lift the chin, crack your eyes open. We're going to come to hands and knees. I've got all my weighted props here. From hands and knees, and have your strap handy and that ball handy. And if you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. I like the strap to keep the ball in place. Hands can come to your blocks or just on the mat in front of you or coffee table, whatever you have nearby. And we're just going to rock forward. Remember that accordion breath, that expansion in 2 directions, feeling that expansion as the chin lifts up. Feel the flesh of the face fall back. And then exhale, feel that drawing in to the center. And then we're going to rock forward and back a few times like that. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale, you're gonna hold at the center, grab your strap. You're gonna loop the strap around the upper back. And if you have these holsters in your strap, great. Just loop your hands right through. Just like this. And place your hands back on your block. If you don't have a strap, you can just bundle them up under and press your hands down. We're gonna do the same thing, and this time that resistance band, we're gonna give in to that resistance, maybe deepening that back bend as you inhale. And then as you exhale, ooh, a little harder to come to that center, punching, finding these muscles on the back as well as the front body. And then inhale, slowly give in. So slowing down that back bend creates some body awareness of how your body wants to snap, and then giving it feedback to no, let's go slow. Maybe you feel your abdominals activate as you slow it down. Maybe you feel your arm muscles activate in order to create some stability in how you give in to that band. Exhale and inhale. And slowly letting go of the contraction of the lower belly, transverse abdominals. Press into the tops of the feet here. Take a little lingering back bend. And we're going to tuck the toes, curl. You're going to linger into this curl. Holding it for a few seconds. Again, maybe you start to feel other things wake up in the abdominals, the legs. We're going to hold that back bend for a few breaths. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet down. And exhale. One more tuck. And inhale, come back to neutral. You're going to sit on your heels, untuck the toes, move your arms out to a T. You can be gripping or have your hands in these little holsters. Good. And we're going to retract our right shoulder blade onto our back as we reach our right arm, coming to a little twist. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And then inhale and exhale. We're going to twist to the left. Retract that left shoulder blade. Squeeze your thighs together. Good. And right side and left side. And we're going to play a little bit like an airplane. We're going to tip to the left, retract the right shoulder blade, gaze at those fingers so the neck, throat participate in this twist. We're going to unwind and untilt, tilt over to the right, and then wind, twist over to the left. Gaze at those fingertips. And we're going to come back and do the other side and come back and do the other side. You're just going to dance around with this tilt and twist with your band or without the band. Of course, the band's completely optional here. If you have a yoga strap, that'll work too. Good. And notice how the sit bones might want to lift. How do we keep that groundedness? Squeezing those inner thighs together maybe helps. Pressing the tops of the feet down helps. As we get really airy and flighty, still feeling the connection to the earth and the ground. And come back to center, lower the arms, unloop, and just let that little bit of strength training, little bit of energy move through the arms. You're gonna grab your ball, step the right foot forward, and find Anjay Asana, and move this to the side. And your hands can be on your blocks or the mat. And we're just gonna tilt forward, find our back bend, and tilt back, find that curl. right? So they're both back bends. One's an extension, one's a flexion. I'm just kind of feeling how those abdominals move with you as you breathe and tilt in those different directions. And you're going to find that middle place where you feel like your spine is nice and long, the front body is long, the back body is long and spacious. Take one of those accordion breaths and slowly walk your hands up the front thigh, holding your ball in your right hand. Inhale, reach your arms up. You're going to come to asana. Pat up that left kneecap if your mat is kind of thin or your knee is sore like this. And then we're going to exhale. Come out of the back bend, reach your arms forward. Inhale, back. And exhale, down. Good. So that pulse of the breath, inhale, abdominal walls hug in to that center. Inhale, the back muscles hug into the center and the front body expands. Good. And we're going to add a little pass here. Hold, arms reach forward. You're going to pass your ball over to your left hand. Reach it behind you. Find that retraction of the left shoulder blade, retraction of the right shoulder blade. Pass it and come forward. And as you do this, option to rock the hips, option to add a toss. So, professional catch player here. No, not really. But I love a good game of catch with my kids or my dad, my mom. You can toss behind you, toss in front. If you have a remote control, you can try tossing it. Don't toss your phone. Good. And the next time you toss in front, hold, reach your arms up, hand and ball in your left hand, exhale, hands come down. Step that right foot back to tabletop. Take a breath in, exhale, ha, breath out. Instead of drawing into your center, let the belly drop to the floor, let the pelvic floor kind of droop. We're gonna do that again, call it pelvic floor drop, belly drop, inhale, puff up, and then exhale, drop down. Step your left foot forward, framing the front foot. You're gonna rock forward and back a little bit, just like before. I feel like on this side, I wanna watch you guys play catch. Fun for me. And rocking forward and back. And the next time you rock back, just find a neutral space where your trunk feels really stable. Spread in the front, spread in the back. Walk your hands up your front thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up. Left hand holds the ball this time. Antiracist. Spread in the front and exhale. Even out that spread. Inhale. So we're not curling the spine as we were before, but we're using that energy to bring us back to neutral. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. Anchoring through that right leg, top of the right foot presses down. Good. And the next time you reach forward, holding, and we're gonna pass. Oh, sorry, did I do it the right way? I don't know, doesn't matter. We're gonna pass. Retract the shoulder blades. First few, just passing And then if you want to add the toss, oh, it's harder. Awesome. Chasing the ball around the kitchen or wherever you are, part of the fun. What's nice about adding this element of play is that when you mess up, you kind of just have to laugh, versus I think a lot of movement that we do that we focus so much on being perfect. I mean, the silliness of adding a ball toss to asana. You just kind of gotta laugh. Oh, sorry, we didn't do the rocking on this side. So maybe for the last few, add the rocking. I didn't rock because I was like, this is hard enough. So good. And arms are feeling it. All right. Toss to the right, reach up, inhale. Exhale down. Plant your palm, step a foot back. You can plant your ball, sit back, child's pose. Inhale and exhale. Let your arms relax in this child's pose. Breathing into the back body, expanding the lungs, feeling the ribs part. Walk your hands back. Swing your heels forward. So sitting up on your heels and swing your heels forward, cross the legs. One hand on your chest. Taking a moment to honor the practice of yoga, its roots, indigenous people and lands, and how yoga is in service to us and how we are in service to yoga. And honoring the land upon which we practice, unceded, colonized land, uniting our practice to the fight towards decolonization and collective liberation. Inhale for Om if you choose. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace within and peace without.